Okay, so apparently there's like some situation going on with like Marathon and stolen assets. I figured I'd give like a little dev take on it because I might have like a kind of different take here. Well, depends. I don't know I don't know the situation, but all right. So apparently, so there's this original post here. So let's just like read what Pirate Software said first. By the way, Pirate Software is also like a dev. So yeah, so it's gonna also be from like that same sort of perspective. This thread is insanely damning and shows that Bungie lifted designs themselves, or the company Kerpahosk did and sold them to Bungie. A number of these direct copies are direct copies. So while AI sourcing, it's possible, it seems unlikely in all the cases here. The creator's work spans nearly a decade and shows thousands of pieces of art. They can be found here on Antireal.info, and if you played Marathon, you will as I have, you will identify a number of them instantly. So let's take a look at the thread here. So this guy here, N2, Antireal. This is like, this says Antireal, by the way, right here. Oh god, the chat's blocking it right there. It says Antireal right there. Marathon Alpha released recently. Its environments are covered with assets lifted from poster designs I made in 2017. So he says, Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster them all over the game without pay or attribution. So you can see like this sort of thing here. I don't have the resources nor the energy to spare to pursue this legally, but I have lost count of the number of times a major company has deemed it easier to pay a designer to imitate or steal my work than to write me an email. In 10 years, I have never made a consistent income from this work. I am tired of designers from huge companies mood boarding and parasiting my designs while I struggle to make a living. So, as you can see here, these are screenshots from Marathon on the left. Oh, that's pretty bad, actually. That's exactly the thing. Even here, it like bleeds over, like as if it was copy pasted, like from here to here. As you can see, it like actually bleeds over. It says like dark space, whatever, it, like kind of wraps. It's like a texture. If you can see here, it says here, right here, it's got the Aleph dark speech haulage logistics and Aleph, right? And you can see here, it's actually like a texture, so it's like not even like intentionally, like it's kind of like it just wraps around the corner of it, right? So here you have like the whole thing, and then here you have it kind of like being added as a texture is my guess, and then it wraps around the other side, and then you have here the whole thing as well, like literally the same thing. Got like another one over here. Let's check that out as well. We've got here like the chevron logo just upside down. Oh, this one's gonna be crazy. Let's see, it's got like a bunch of glyphs, it looks like. And oh, they're just upside down. Yeah, those are the same glyphs, just upside down. Literally my logo. Literally his logo's in there. Man. Yeah, yikes. This is not a good look. I will say. This is pretty bad. It looks dumber the more I look. I hid my logo. Wait, is this logo? I hid LOSS in my design 6 years ago and nobody caught on. What is that? LOSS? Lost the meme? What's lost? Wait, what's lost? I don't know what that is.
Quick context. Lost is a meme from the gaming internet webcomic Control-Alt-Delete. The author of the comic's ex-girlfriend years ago suffered a miscarriage of his child, so he made a complete tonal shift suddenly in his comic to where one of his characters has one. It was memed to death and made fun nonstop and has become a regular internet meme to the point where people refer to it as the only English kanji. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Anyway, that's pretty funny, but you want to know what I think? Okay, let's see what else he says. To add more to the mess, the franchise art director for Marathon is following the artist that was being stolen from. Come on, man. Interesting. Going to be interesting to see what Bungie's response is. The image on the right is the original artist's work, and the image on the left is the asset Bungie has in Marathon. The fade is only applied to the text, but it's easy to see what it was when they're side by side. Oh shit. Okay, you want to know what this could be? All right, I'm just trying to be like, okay, this is a really bad look. First off, this is really bad. It's a bad look. Let's read a little bit more first before I give my take on it. I don't think that Kerpa Husk sold them to Bungie, as Bungie's own Joseph Cross has been following said artist. Per artist, they had never had discourse with Mr. Cross and communication from Bungie concerning the art. Leads me to believe that Bungie is responsible solely. And that's my guess as well, says Pirate Software. But connections have been shown between the two, and we have no visibility into that agreement. Rather cover a rebase until we find out what's that. Interesting. So there's only one. So this is obviously like a very, very bad look. This is gonna be, this is rough. There were like some talks about AI earlier. I don't think this is AI. AI doesn't really work this way. There's no way like AI would generate like this literal exact thing. I don't think that's possible. So I don't think it's AI. You want to know what it could be though? There is like one explanation for this that's innocent and stupid. As in like it's not a good thing. Like it's definitely still bad, but there is a non-malicious explanation. And let me explain this to you as a game designer, okay? The non-malicious explanation is that somebody basically went on the internet and was like, I need something that looks good here for like a playtest. And then they put it into the game as a placeholder, and then they forgot to take it out. That's one thing that it could be, is that they literally just like Googled like, oh, like, you know, sci-fi, like UI, or something like that. And then they literally put it into the game. Like, oh yeah, this is just like for the internal test, so that like, we know like kind of what we need. And then they forgot. Like they just literally forgot about it. So like, you know, again, like I said, like I worked on like a pretty big video game before, right? And like people did this shit all the time. They just put like fucking like whatever, like meme textures or anything like that. Like before, I used to put like for the character portraits, I used to like take like Walfis generator. Do you guys know who Walfis is? I used to make like Walfis like Toho like characters, and I would make that the portrait for the character like internally, because I didn't have like one, right? This is like before AI, right? This is like before the AI era. So I would just like gen up something using the Walfis generator, like the Walfis Toho like maker, and then I would put that up. So like there were like some internal files of like Toho characters, but it was like, you know, you take it off after, right? Like obviously, like you know, you have it in there and then you remove it like later, because it's just like for internal testing. It's just like, you know, you're not actually using it like for the, you know, you're not actually using it like, you know, when the game releases. It's just like kind of like, you know, prototyping, right? Yeah. And that's pretty common practice, actually. It's not too crazy to do that. So that's like the only thing I can think of, is that maybe that happened. Again, I'm being very generous, right? Like, obviously, I think like 90%, like they fucked up really bad, and then like, you know, whoever like did this was like, oh, no one's gonna do anything about it. Like probably like 90%, but there's like a 10% chance that like they just fucked up. Like it's possible like this guy, whoever the whatever. So they said that he's following him, right here. The franchise art director Marathon, this Joseph Cross guy, it's possible he's just a fan, right? Like he's a fan of Antireal, right? I mean, it's possible that this guy's a fan. I mean, like that happens, right? Like you're like a fan of like, you're a fan of something, like you kind of like reference off of it because like you're really inspired by it, right? I mean, it's just like how inspiration works. Artists do this shit all the time. Like artists will be like, oh, I really like this character, and like that character looks like kind of how I want to draw. So they'll like take a bunch of pictures of like anime characters and they'll put them up on the side as like a reference, right? And then they'll draw their picture like looking at it, right? Not really uncommon to like have like inspiration from it. So it's possible that the Joseph Cross guy just really liked him. Again, this is like a small percent chance, right? But I'm just saying like there is an alternate. What I'm trying to give you guys is an alternate explanation. Does that make sense? That it might not be malice, it might be just like freaking fail. Shai says, don't attribute to malice what stupidity could explain. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, guys, it feels really fun to like join the lynch mob and just kind of like be really upset about something. But sometimes there's like a more mundane explanation. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? And it's possible that this Joseph Cross guy was just a fan. I mean, obviously he follows him, right? So, I mean, I don't think that's out of the question. Right? Because if you were doing this like maliciously, like why the fuck would you follow him? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It's possible Joseph Cross was just a fan of this guy. He was like a huge fan of like his work. He was like really inspired by like the stuff that he saw like from his work. He was like, wow, that's kind of what I like. That's what I want. Like, I want it to look like that. That's my vision, right? I'm inspired by that, and I kind of want it like kind of related like in that way, right? I want it to be inspired by that. And it's possible. So he followed him, and he's just like kind of looking at his stuff. He used it like as a placeholder, and then they just forgot, which is like, you know, obviously like a huge fucking fail. Like, I'm not saying like that's a good thing. I'm saying like, wow, man, like huge fucking fail. Like, are you kidding me? Like that, like as like an art director, like obviously like you shouldn't be doing, you shouldn't fuck up this bad. Like that's terrible. That's a huge fuck up, right? But is it malice? It might just be stupidity, right? And also like alternate explanation. It's not even this guy. It's the alternate explanation too is that like this guy had no idea, even though he followed the other guy. He's not like he doesn't memorize all of that guy's works, right? Like Joseph Cross didn't memorize like literally all of that other guy's works, right? And he basically, someone else underneath him put it in, and like he didn't know it, and he's just finding out about it today, which is possible as well. The malice will come up with how this is responded by Bungie. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to wait, because they're gonna have to face these allegations and actually like come up with like, they're gonna have to tell us like what's going on, right? Didn't people say it might be the design agency as well? Yes, it could be. I don't think we have enough information yet, but we'll find out. All we know for certain, what we know for certain is somebody used this guy's work. I think that's very, I think that the evidence is very clear that somebody used Antireal's work here, literally put it in the game. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where that goes, yeah. Not the first for Bungie, they are known art thieves. Crazy says 100% stupidity. This is the AAA studio that made the original Halo. They have done this 4 times. I see. What they like added in something like in placeholder and then forgot about it. Yeah, well the thing is, it's like the game probably has hundreds of assets, right? So like I could see like a couple getting left in there from placeholder. It's possible. Yo, Ragnar, thank you for the bits. On the other hand, though, stupidity is just as destructive as malice. Yeah, but they're different things. Really, like, obviously, like, it's still wrong. And, like, you know, obviously, Antireal should either be compensated or the stuff should be removed, obviously, right? But I don't think it's the same thing in terms of, like, I think the intent matters, basically. All right, anyway, I think that's all I have on this topic. It wasn't really that much.